Hello and welcome back, adventurers. Get comfy and let's finish up the story of the blighted land of Forlorn. To call Forlorn a realm is to vastly overstate matters. Indeed, it is the lack of anything that is a sane man would deem law or order that gives the land its unique charm. There's nothing in this blighted region that I would go as far as to call a civilization, with only primitive, half-formed societies of the aforementioned goblins and druids coming close. Only fear and desperation rule this land. Adventurers like you, of course, never heed the warnings. They need only hear that Forlorn boasts not one, but two haunted castles to provide all the motivation they need to pack their bags, hoist their swords, and charge blindly into dangerous claws. Whether they are in fact mounds of treasure lying deep in the dungeons of Castle Tristan-i-Ora or Castle Forfar, I can neither confirm nor dispute, but rumors of such are rampant. So, how would a fair band of adventurers start with their quest of plundering the castle's coffers? My advice would be to start in the hamlet of Forfar, located just over the Forlorn's border of Haslan. This settlement occurred quite recently in comparison to other events in Forlorn history. In 688 Barovian calendar, Hodder MacGrannin wandered out of the mists along with a company of settlers. According to his vision, he led people to the edge of Forlorn highlands. The discovery of the long-lost barony of Forfar and the ancestral castles Ablanc and Forfarmax inspired the Forfarians to settle nearby. Little of note exists in Forfarmax, save the hamlet's status as the primary source of Formish, the famous Forfarian whiskey given a distinctive flavor by infusing the mash with peat smoke. It is perhaps worth noting that the current lord of Forfarmax is Niall MacGrannin, Hodder's son. A well-educated man with a passion for astronomy, Niall desires to secure Castle Forfarmax for himself and expand his domain, a goal that has eluded him for years. Additionally, a clan of wizards, the Upmortons, resides in Longshanks Hall, a rambling and ramshackle affair situated at the settlement's outskirts. This sprawling family of mages has an unsavory reputation, despite being invaluable defenders of Forfarmax against goblin raiders, their vast store of Forfarian lore, and the tradition of many happy marriages into the family with attendant lavish weddings. Personally, I found them entirely agreeable. According to the records of Forfarmax, long before the mists revealed Forlorn, Clan Macfarn ruled the Killowing March, the lowlands of Forlorn, from the seat of Farn in Castle Forfarmax. In time, the seat of Farn was contested between Donal and Duncan Macfarn, twin brothers. Duncan invited his brother to dine in his new feast hall. Donal came with 20 men, and Duncan and his soldiers slew them all, raining arrows from the murder holes in the hall's ceiling. A year to the day later, when Duncan Macfarn and his bride stepped into the hall for their wedding feast, the door to the hall slammed and the stones of the floor rose up, flying through the air, smashing the life out of all that were present. Since that day, Castle Forfarmax and the land around it have been crushed and cloaked in fog. Castle Forfarmax is a crumbling ruin, but within its walls the stony ghosts of hospitality still wait. Approximately 1 mile from the shores of the Lake of Red Tears lies all that remains of once prosperous village of Birnam, first ruled by the Upblanks and then by the Upfeets before it was destroyed in the cataclysm that transported the land to the land of the mists. In those days, the village was home to perhaps 1,000 people. Its largest building was Ablanc Hall, a medium-sized keep that was inherited by the Upfeets when they became the ruling family around 1637 for Forfarian calendar. Around the keep were scattered the homes of the commoners, buildings made of slabs of stone mortared in place like bricks and topped with thatched roofs. The shops and inns were built in a similar fashion, while the town halls and churches were more elaborate, with clan crests or God's holy symbols carved in the wooden beams of their walls. Upfeet Hall was completely gutted by fire in Forfar year 1930, when Mark Ablanc's mercenaries triumphed over the soldiers of the Upfeets. Today only a hollow shell of it remains. The rest of Birnam's houses were inhabited and in use until 1934 Forfarian calendar, when Forfar entered Ravenloft as the domain of Forlorn. In that year, without a spring, crops refused to sprout, the earth trembled and groaned, and strange lights filled the sky. Most of the population of Birnam fled during what came to be known as the Time of Terrors. When at last the land was retched into the demiplane of dread, those few humans who remained were transformed into goblins. Abandoning their homes, the newly formed goblins fled to the woods. The town of Birnam fell into ruin, as did the farmhouses that once dotted the land. Thatched roofs and wooden floors rotted away, stone walls crumbled in the violent tremors that reshaped the landscape. Few of the remaining buildings have one or two intact walls. Apparently, some distant ancestral memory continues to draw the goblins back to Birnam. They sometimes stand outside the ruined homes, staring intently at the scattered masonry with their glowing red eyes, as if trying to unlock the secret of their origin, or so the druids seem to believe. Castle Tristan-i-Ora, on the other hand, is a magnificent structure, looming above the ruins of Birnam. In the courtyard stands Flora's oak, strangely vital despite the many centuries that have passed, jutting like a stake in the heart of the beast that is Forlorn. The ancient ruin is supposedly home to Slater and the Goblin's Master. More certainly, ghosts and goblins haunt Tristan-i-Ora, and few that enter its crumbling walls ever leave. Those who return from the castle rave about horrific specters and claim that the evil within these halls grown so caustic that time itself has begun to decay. During my research, I have stumbled on a Vistani clan, whose Ronnie claimed to know what is happening inside. She confirmed that Tristan is indeed alive and resides inside the castle Tristan-i-Ora, trapped by an ancient curse to never leave. She claimed that ghosts of all those who had ever had any relation to Tristan now reside there as well, his mother Flora, his adoptive mother Rual, and numerous people whom he killed without a blink of an eye. Her clan now never ventures close to the castle walls, of fear of the retribution, as they have helped save a young woman from the castle so many years ago. And this is it for Forlorn. There's more to the mystery of Tristan but I would hate to rob DMs and players alike from solving this one themselves. But for now, thank you so much, patient listeners, and take care crossing the mists.